Welcome to another edition of the Gator Nation Football Podcast. I'm your host, James DiVirgilio. No video entry this time, primarily because I was tight on time due to having to break down all of these plays that occurred in this defensive field breakdown versus LSU. As always, if you like this content, you can support our efforts by following us on social media, by dropping us a dono on Patreon, and by checking out the podcast each and every Monday, where we bring you in-depth analysis on the Florida Gators. All right, there were some good plays that occurred in this game. There were a whole lot of bad plays. I'm going to walk you through them. Right out of the gate on the very first play, Brenton Cox is going to show you his dominance, which he'll throw you throughout this. He's going to show you throughout this film review and really throughout this season thus far. He's been eliminating his mistakes seemingly systematically each week, and that's been leading to better play. And right off the bat, one-on-one, he's just going to beat the left tackle with a speed rush right into the backfield. Probably a little bit of holding here, but that happens on almost every play. And then he's about to get his first sack, starting things off right. And then unfortunately, just, again, still getting blocked here, right? Still getting blocked here, gets ridden out of the play. That's going to wind up going for a short gain instead of a sack for LSU, but right away, Cox showing you that if you're going to block him one-on-one, he can make you pay. Ventrell Miller is going to start the game off as well here with a little A-gap pressure that's going to get home, taking down the running back. A-gap pressure, going to stop this split zone play before it even gets started. And if you were just evaluating the breakdown on these two plays, you would think Florida did pretty well. This is the first third down for LSU. It's third down and 8. We're going to get Butte coming across here. Florida's going to wind up playing a cover 2. It's going to be available in the first window right here for Daniels to hit. This is available. In fact, it was available early in this area as well. Lots of green grass here. Florida's been doing this a lot, putting this on film quite a bit with their safeties, whether it's cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, cover 6. Their safeties essentially are not actually taking what I would prefer to see, which would be the space away once it becomes clear the route is declared. If the goal is just to stay on top forever, of course you can do that, but you're not, in my opinion, playing defense. You'd like to see what you're seeing here from the underneath defenders, which would actually be less space than this, so this throw is not available. But we had it here. We're going to have it here again. Daniels is not going to throw this here, and now the play is going to get extended. Florida did not get here to Daniels early on, but we do have coverage here, coverage here, coverage here, coverage here. We're double bracketed here. This is good. This should be fine. This should be a coverage sack or coverage incompletion. They missed the window here and here, so he's 0 for 2 on the early window. And now we have Trey Dean coming down, looking to help on a receiver who's already double covered. He's now going to recognize that he's got a crosser. Again, he's in cover 2. This is his responsibility if this crosses over to his side. We finally see Trevez on the screen. I'd like to see Trevez here on top of this route. He can pass this off now to Dean. He can stay on top, let Dean play the side. They can pinch this, or even if he felt like he had another vertical coming and Daniels is still in the middle of the field with tons of time left, of course, you could still have Trevez pass that off and recover. Regardless, at this point, Daniels is now rolling out to the right a little bit. Dean now sees this. He's going to compound his starting mistake by turning the wrong way. He should turn this way to recover to where Butte is running. He's going to turn the wrong way once. Then he's going to make another mistake by looking back at the quarterback, which is not what he needs to do. He's in recovery. He just needs to get over here and try to head off where this route's going. He then is going to turn back again the wrong way one more time, essentially taking himself completely out of this play. This is not a well-thrown ball. It's definitely a duck. It comes in very slowly, but it does get there, and then we're going to miss one tackle, miss two tackles, and there's both of your safeties not executing your cover 2 on the first third down of the game, which leads to a completion for LSU. 3rd and 5 for LSU after a couple of good plays by Florida's defense. We are now faced with this scenario. Florida going to play off the ball here by quite a significant margin on 3rd and 5. That's significant cushion, right? We could easily just take this ball right here and make this play. That's a layup. We're not going to take that here for LSU. Instead, we're going to toss this ball, which is almost as good because you're going to get plenty of lead time here to make some blocks, except we're going to just get a complete half-hearted attempt here at the block on Torrance. And again, if they just get this block on Torrance here, this play is off to the races for a big gain, but he's not going to get a block at all, probably because he was so uncovered. He was just thinking, wow, I'm so uncovered, I can do whatever I want. Oh, shoot, I'm supposed to block. Doesn't get one. Torrance comes down. Actually, now should make this play. He should make this tackle, and this is going to be 4th down. Instead, he's going to miss this tackle, or at least not get enough of him, and that is going to lead to an LSU 1st down. Pretty generous spot, but an LSU 1st down here early on in the game. Early on in the game, Florida actually had quite a few positive plays on defense, especially on early downs. Cox had a lot of positive plays throughout the game on his own. You're going to see him working on the right tackle for LSU, and he is going to win this matchup handily early on, driving him back. Take a look at the drive here, just throwing him off and then making an incredibly great sack as Daniels tries to escape. Again, an elusive guy holding on right here with one hand as his momentum takes him this way to bring him down for a sack, setting up 2nd down and long. Again, Cox did this all game long, frequently winning one-on-one matchups, and they presented him with those, and oftentimes LSU doubled him as the game moved on. But a really nice play here, one-on-one. Florida had these moments. They just could not capitalize on 3rd down, obviously, and then as the game wore on, the defense did tend to get worse on all downs. You're not going to get a good camera angle for this one, but stick with the drawings as I walk you through it. Florida's going to show cover 6. They're going to show cover 6. Marshall pressed up here tight. Looks like Dean's going to play safety here. You have Torrance off the screen back here, and then you have Jaden Hill off of his receiver down here. It looks like cover 6, but it is going to be a match 3. It's going to be a cover 3 match. And what's going to happen on this play, Trevez is going to become your flat defender. He's going to become, Miller here is going to become your hook or curl defender. Bernie's your flat defender here. Marshall, again, playing a match 3, is going to take that route vertically. And then you're going to have Trey Dean, who is off your screen, who we showed you here in the beginning. Here's Trey Dean. He's going to become your other hook defender. So you have 4 underneath, 3 on the top. 4 underneath, 3 on the top, covering this across like this. And Trey Dean is going to be the person to focus on this one. We're not going to see him here until the end of the play, but I will show you the one little sliver of an angle we get here so you can see what happens. Bernie into the flat. Miller back to the hook. Trevez off your screen here covering the flat. Dean now, this is your other underneath defender and your hook, and you're going to watch him and his feet. I'm going to show you what happens. You're going to see Butte come across the screen right here. You can see his feet flash above Miller, top of your screen. He's going to flash. Dean is now going to locate him, and he's going to turn the wrong way yet again. This is not the way you want to turn. You have a route coming this way. You know that your space is over here. By turning this way, your momentum is going the wrong way, and you're not going to be able to stop this route. Quarterback is rolling this way. He should open up that way, take that space away. He knows he has that area above his head. Instead, he turns the wrong way. This creates even an avenue here for a wobbly, not well thrown ball as far as a spiral goes with velocity to still get there. He's almost here to separate. He's not here to separate. And all of that could have been different if he simply recognizes here, man coming into his zone, turn, locate, fill the space, and you're good. In fact, could have been a pick here. Regardless, if he covers up here, we're going to wind up probably getting a coverage sack or an incompletion. And instead, this 3rd and 14 becomes a 1st down. 2nd and goal for LSU. Florida's going to mess up the exchange here. We have Torrance and Miller. Miller's going to point out that someone needs to take the running back here in the flat. You're going to get an in route from the receiver. Jaden Hill's job here is to stay walling off, as is Marshall's. We're going to wall these receivers off, keep them here in the middle of the field to make this a congested throw. If Jaden Hill gets a quick in-breaking route, he's going to sink back and take any route that comes into his area here. In theory, Torrance should be a flat defender here in this zone. He should be reading any release to the flat, and that should be him. There are ways Florida could invert this, of course, and have Hill be the one that stays out here to cover the flat. And then you could have Torrance come back. But based upon Miller's body language here, it looks like Torrance is at fault. Regardless, Florida gets this wrong right away. You can see Miller is pointing off the snap for Torrance to come over here and play this flat. You can see Jaden watching the release here of the one receiver on the outside, number 1. And then what you're going to get here, number 1 beating the number 1 receiver, not necessarily number 1. At any rate, you get Miller still pointing, now recognizing Torrance is facing him and that Torrance is not paying attention or doesn't really care what Miller says in this scenario. He's locked on the tight end. Miller recognizes he's going to have to go and try to get to this play which he's through a wall of traffic. He can't get to that play. Jaden Hill, again, who was sitting high to take this tight end, thinking Torrance was going to come over here and take the flat, is also not going to be able to get here, and they're going to wind up finding themselves an easy touchdown here to tie the game 7-7. And something we've been seeing each and every game, Florida's going to give up a lot of cushion, and they're definitely going to give up these curl routes. Florida's going to choose to play 3-on-2 on this side of the field, leaving Marshall working by himself against Booty, who most teams, again, had been electing to double and let him work by himself here. Florida is going to get pressure early. They're going to bring pressure, get pressure. Daniels is going to roll out and then have this throw off his back foot, rolling away, but a confident enough throw because he breaks off Jason Marshall with this curl. Marshall, again, bailing out early, keeping a lot of separation between him and Booty on this play, essentially giving up this route by the way he's playing. In my opinion, way too easy. I'd like to see Florida stick closer to these routes. Of course, you can't cover everything, and if you're going to have to work by yourself, you do not want to get beat for a touchdown. You want to make LSU work down the field here. But if you're going to give up so much cushion that he's able to throw with his momentum going here, and you're coming into the picture and you are unable to even touch the receiver, you are giving up too much space. Too much space, right? You are overplaying the vertical route there. You can be closer. So that does not happen, but on 2nd and 10, LSU picks up an easy 9. This play gets so mangled by Florida, it's hard to know exactly who's supposed to be doing what here, or even what back-end coverage Florida is in. We're going to bring Booty across the formation. Again, their best receiver. There's going to be no move to exchange that. So, of course, Florida is in a zone defense. Presumably, Torrance thinks he's taking this, but Jaden also seems to think he's taking this route. And then we're unsure of who's taking who now with the actual one receiver. So as he comes out, both Torrance and Jaden are going to look at the number one release. They're both going to basically cover him until no one actually covers him. It's going to go off your screen. But Torrance right here comes downhill thinking perhaps this might be a screen play, and he releases for a go route for a wide open touchdown if they wanted it. Meanwhile, Jaden is way off the ball here, and Miller, who's scrape exchanging here, Florida expecting something different. They're going to scrape exchange too tightly to the line to where he cannot make a play. He cannot make a play on Daniels. He needs to be further outside here so Shamar can fill this inside gap. So we lose our outside control of this play. Now it's a foot race. Daniels has this easily. He probably should just run this instead of risking this little pitch. But he has not only his tight end open, he also has down here Booty open from the motion, and Jaden Hill, who you now see coming down, who's 2-on-1 essentially, is going to come make this tackle. So LSU elects not to take the go route that occurs right here over the top of Torrance. That would have been a layup. He's not looking at that. Why? Because it's 3rd and 2. It's early in the game. LSU is going to take a sure thing here, which is just fine. But Florida messes up this scrape exchange. That leads to another 3rd down conversion for LSU. Multiple ways they could have converted that one. Never what you want to see when you're looking at film. If teams are going to convert on you, you want to see that play being challenged. You want to see your execution being solid, and you do not want to see multiple options for the quarterback to go to. LSU was extremely successful versus Florida in running coverage beaters. They were essentially reading Florida's mail, predicting what Florida was going to be running in defense and then manipulating that accordingly. You're going to see a pre-snap motion here, letting LSU know Florida's in zone, confirming the exact play that they want, as they are suspecting Florida is in some sort of cover 3 look, either 3 match or just regular 3, and they're going to take advantage here with a very, very simple route combo that resembles essentially 4 verts, but you have 2 benders. You're going to have a bender here, a vert here. These 2 middle are your benders. They can turn it in depending on what Florida's coverage becomes in the back end, and a go route here, which is going to leave Marshall 2-on-1. Of course, this is my favorite way to play football, is send multiple guys out. In this case, LSU sending 5, spread the field far, wide, east, west, and then make these underneath defenders wrong as long as you get protection, because they are not going to carry these vertical routes, and all your quarterback has to do is do what he's doing now, confirm his read. He knows he has 2 verticals here, 2-on-1 versus Marshall. Trevez is going to be underneath the play where he cannot do anything. Pick the one that you like better depending on which one Marshall aligns to. You can see Marshall's going to stay here to the outside as he should. He's supposed to split this in between them, which is going to give him this inside ball right here. Nice big window. Anticipate the throw, And here you go. You can see how he's 2-on-1. Go route here, Bender here. You cannot cover both of those. Trevez is down low. There's no way Trevez is going to get this deep to cover that. You're either going to have to get pressure here early on to protect yourself from that, or you're going to have to do a better job disguising your back-end defenses. But this is a nice play by LSU. There's nothing Florida can do about this one. There's nothing Marshall can do about this one. This is the right play call into the right situation, something LSU did quite a bit against Florida. All right, 3rd and 8 for LSU. This play, pre-snap, actually looks pretty good because it's hard to know what Florida's in. So you get a motion man across from LSU, right? You do not know exactly what Florida's in. Although we've brought our safety down, Florida could still be playing zone. You're not totally sure if they're playing man, so this is not going to be a layup. Although LSU is expecting a man play here, and they do get man from Florida. So let that be known. They expect man and they get man. And in this case, Florida's going to bring pressure with both their linebackers. They're going to drop Boone here in as the rat into the middle, but LSU is not interested in going there. They're instead going to open up here and work this 3v4 side, and they're going to work this with a combo route, a little pick route here coming underneath. A slant under this. It's a very good route combo. We've talked about Florida employing more of this on offense. Florida's been much more content to sort of let their receivers just run routes one-on-one, but here you can watch Florida here electing to play man, LSU electing to run a combo route here that forces Jaden Hill to stay with this slant route. He can either try to go on top of it, which is exactly what he should do on 3rd down and 8. On 3rd and 8, you do not want to go underneath this, right? It's 3rd and 8. You don't want to go underneath this because you're going to be in trail. You'd rather go on top of this here. That way, you'll get a cleaner release in this break. But he is going to go underneath. It's going to put him in a little bit of trail. And he is going to be almost in the right position here to make this play. As you can see right here, this is a great ball by Daniels. Jaden Hill just misses this, and that goes for a 1st down conversion. Now, you'd much rather see teams convert plays against you like this. Of course, like we mentioned, LSU reads Florida's mail here. They know Florida wants to play man defense. They have their man beater on. They get their first look. Again, much better if Jaden Hill goes over the top of this route, right? If he goes over the top of this route, he has a chance to make this play. Instead, by putting himself immediately in trail, he knows he has this. He likes that look. He has the space he's looking for. Deliver this ball up the field. 1st down conversion. 2nd and goal for LSU. Florida has the right play call on here. Here's Trey Dean. We're going to start with him. He's going to come in. He's the unblocked man. It's his play to read who's getting the football, and he is going to try to do 2 jobs at once by simultaneously playing tag with both of them. Okay, so tag, I've got you both. You're down, I've tagged you, and you're down, I've tagged you, except we're not playing tag or touch football, which now means Dean has effectively not stopped the inside run, nor has he stopped the quarterback keeper. In this situation, you'd much rather have Dean come in, read this for a second, hold for a second. That way, if the running back did get the ball, he's able to then grab him and pull him backwards. And if the quarterback keeps the ball, he makes this tackle for a loss. Instead, he comes in hot, plays freeze tag. We're not playing tag. And now here comes Miller rotating to the outside. He has to read this play first. Running back doesn't have it. I'm going to bounce to the outside to make a tackle, and he's going to shoot out here one-on-one. And he's going to unfortunately miss this tackle. The reality is, if Trey Dean does his job here on this play, if he slows this down even a little bit, Miller will be here to help him. This will be a tackle for a loss. Instead, it goes for a touchdown. That's a right example of the right play call and poor execution. 3rd and 10 for LSU. Again, LSU is going to get the matchup that they want. You get a pre-snap formation switch, and then you're going to get a motion from the tight end. Right now, Shamar would be in zone, responsible for him. But as we see this, Shamar is going to take it and then pass it off to Miller. So now Ventrell Miller is not ideal in pass coverage. His weakest spot is 1v1 versus the tight end here in the underneath zone. Shamar is going to watch the running back and see if he releases. That's his responsibility. He's doing his job. And now Ventrell is matched up one-on-one. That's exactly where Daniels is looking. And as soon as he sees this face cut here, he gets everything he wants. Easy ball. Easy completion on 3rd and 10. That's going to wind up being a 20-yard gain on a simple in-breaking route, largely because LSU got the exact matchup they wanted by design, hitting their primary receiver. Miller is weak in coverage. That's not his fault per se. That's a limitation that he has. Again, this is an example of LSU taking advantage of Florida's personnel and how Florida plays defense and how they pass off players to get a matchup they want and converting another third down. All season long, I've talked about how essentially you're going to have freshman players who struggle, and that's okay. That's what you expect to see. We're fine with that. You don't want to see your seniors and your veterans struggle. Here, Shamar James is just going to read this play incorrectly. We're going to read this play incorrectly. He's going to fill a hole here, which is already filled by Miller. He should be filling this gap over here. He's not going to fill that gap, so this gap's good, 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 good. So Florida has covered this play perfectly, but it takes everyone to get this right, and Shamar is not going to get in here on time. He's trapping himself right here. You can see you're not going to do any good. If this double team effectively takes out Dez and it takes out you, as a linebacker, you have missed your gap, right? Dez can get doubled here. Does a pretty good job holding the line of scrimmage. That gap is now dead. Miller fills here. Shamar fills here. This play is dead. I've said the word dead a lot. Unfortunately, Shamar's not going to get there. And that's first down and 10. That leads to another first down and 10. Coming into this game, LSU was not a team that threw the ball deep very often. In fact, they were near the bottom in the NCAA in yards per pass. And they were 91st in points per play. Against Florida, they definitely got right, to say the least. Florida's going to elect a bracket here. Booty, which is a good decision, given obviously that that's what many other teams did. He is their best receiver, and they're going to leave Kimber operating one-on-one here in the wideout. Now, good start. We want to push him to the numbers, use the sideline as our help. We want to stay on top of the route. All of this is great. This is a good play by Kimber so far. Perfect technique. He's on top of the route. He's forcing him to the sideline. And this is a play you're fine giving up, because in reality, this is just a really good route. There's a stutter go right here. You're going to see his feet stop. Stutter go. Stutter go. It freezes Kimber. He loses the top of the route on that stutter go. LSU receiver explodes out of it and makes a nice catch, finishing the play where Kimber recovers. And right here, he's in perfect position. Arm is up, trying to separate the ball, ripping downwards. I mean, that's really good recovery by Kimber. That's a really good stutter go route right here by 11. That's just a good football play. And again, in a game where you're not giving up a lot of the non-good football plays, it's football. That's why we love the game. It's fun. It's a great play. It's a good matchup. It's a good battle. Nothing wrong with that there. That's going to happen sometimes. Unfortunately, when it's happening all the time and you just can't get off the field, it becomes more frustrating. But in this event, I have no problem with what went down on this play. Kimber, again, really everything was right, and sometimes the guy's just going to get you. But he recovered, had his arm up, easily could have been an incompletion. Instead, again, it turns out to be a complete pass and a touchdown for LSU. All right, first and 10 for LSU. Jaden's going to get hit. Jaden Hill down here, who was targeted a lot in this game, 8 times. You're going to see it throughout this review. Unfortunately for him, had a great game last week. This week, not so much. He's going to get hit with an absolutely nasty stop route. So it's a little stop route, stop comeback, and it gets him good. The frustration point here is that Jaden is going to have safety help here. He's going to have safety help here. He is also playing zone. He's not playing man, so he should have the ability to be able to stay on top of this route, which he does. Recognize there are no other threats coming. They're essentially just running this route for him. So here's another example of what Florida likes to do against this look. They're running this route exclusively for Jaden, something they feel like he can't stick with his ACL injuries. And this is an easy play. I mean, that's what they're going for. They've got one drag route here, which is also open, by the way, not surprisingly. And then here comes Jaden way off your screen, so late that, of course, you can't even touch him. We get a tackle at the end coming in here by none other than Miller. Of course, he's all over the field, but unfortunately, it's a big gain, an easy gain on first and 10. With help over the top here, once ideally Jaden sees the first stop and then go, he's thinking it's a stop and go, which is entirely reasonable to think at this point in time. Sometimes in football, they're going to get you with a really nice stop, go, stop. And that's just a really hard route to defend. So although it's on Jaden, would you like to see him use the fact that he's a safety over the top and be more aggressive? You would, but the amount of times teams are going to run a stop, go, stop on you are not very often. So you can definitely give him a pass on this one. Again, it's important to recognize some plays teams are making are just good plays. They're going to have those during the game. You can't stop everything, but when you mix it in with a bunch of other plays, eventually it just becomes like every play is frustrating. Like, why is he so open? Well, he's so open there because it's a really nice play. 3rd and 8 for LSU. Florida showing quarters in this coverage. Cover 4 or quarters here. We're going to jump off sides. It's the exact play LSU called. Again, reading Florida's mail. They call the play to get Florida to jump off sides. They want to take a shot here for free potentially. Unlike Florida's philosophy, their offensive line is not just going to sit here and take 5 yards. They're going to try to go for a touchdown, which in my opinion, of course, is good coaching. Being that we are in quarters or match quarters, could be one or the other. I can't tell you for sure. We're going to get this sort of alignment here. Now, no one's going to go deep in this zone, so he's going to stay on top here. But Jaden has to run with his deep route. You'll see Marshall fly with his. Focus of the attention is going to come right down here. Jaden is going to be in position here. He's looking in. Quarterback's looking over here. That's not there. Good recognition by Daniels. This is on top of by Dean. This is covered well by Marshall. That's not going to be there. He's going to come back around. And now we're going to look at Jaden. Our original target's not there. Let's look at what we have on this side of the field. And he likes what he sees. Jaden is here. He's not opened up fully. And he has a nice gap, though. He has a nice lead on this receiver. In theory, you would think Jaden would turn on this. And as he turns down the field, one more time, here we go. There you go. Sorry. One more time down the field. You think this lead would hold up for Jaden. But as we catch up with him on the camera here, we see the lead did not hold up. He's in trail position now. We've talked about his inability to explode off of that leg. I think that has to do with the surgery, and he's not quite back yet. But he is in position to make this play, and he is going to get pushed off of for sure right here. There's the football, and there comes absolute push. Again, Jaden is step for step with him. He's in this area. He's in the catch radius. He's going to get shoved backwards right there, shoved backwards. Arm is extended. No calls made. There should be a call here. And that goes for a touchdown. In reality, it's going to be at least a 5-yard penalty. It's going to be 3rd and 3 to the victor go the spoils for running an aggressive play on this thing and not leaving your offensive line just standing there like Florida will do. But regardless, oftentimes in the NFL or in college, they're not going to call that push off. It is a push off. It's obviously very frustrating to be a DB and have to deal with that because it's already difficult enough for you with the way the rules are. Jaden gets shoved off here. I'd like to see my DBs complain more. Right now, if you're a DB and you get pushed off like that, you need to try to finish this play, but you also need to be letting these officials know that you are getting pushed off. Complain as much as possible. You have to prevent them from allowing this stuff to go on. They need to be looking for it, campaign for it, let them know. Don't just finish here. Tell the ref right now he's pushing off. He cleared that space because he pushed off of me. Instead, LSU gets a touchdown here, causing Florida to jump off sides, checking their deep target on the left, moving over to deep target on the right, putting a ball up for the receiver to get because it's a free play, and capitalizing. Florida missed a ton of tackles in this game, and here is a sad example of a lot of tackles being missed. Now, you've seen at times this season on these film reviews that Florida's defensive line will win. This is a huge win here for Dexter. He gets a one-on-one matchup. When he gets that, he typically does win. He wins here. He certainly looks like he has this tackle. Miller's going to fill this gap here, and that's going to leave Shamar James. It looks like Miller has this tackle. This is really just unfortunate. Again, this is very unlucky. Shamar is shifting out here, thinking he's going to bounce this to the outside. Dexter's grabbing him. He's not thinking it's going to get bent back across. But as their momentum takes them, the only real place he can go now is into the cutback lane. That's going to leave Trey Dean, who's your edge defender, rotating back over. He is there. Here is Trey Dean. He's rotated correctly back. Mitigate the damage. We're going to miss a tackle there. Then here comes Torrance, your safety. We're going to miss a tackle here. There's Jaden Hill. He's going to get stiff armed to the face and put down violently. That's a missed tackle. Now we're in a foot race. There's Jason Marshall and Trevez is going to go ahead and take him down to the ground. So a huge gain on a play that was going to be a tackle for loss. LSU again displaying their knack here for catching Florida in the exact wrong play call from LSU's point of view, the exact right play call. Florida elects to play max pass defense here with a spy, and LSU is going to counter that by basically just sending some clear out routes to occupy the top and bottom of your screen, and then Daniels is going to run. Watch the action here that we designed. Running back, looking like he's blocking, looking like we're going to work either this side. We're going to leave the middle wide open. No routes are coming here. Running back is going to become our lead blocker, taking out the man that he is assigned to, which is Shamar James in this case. Now we're engaged, and now here's our double team. We're just waiting to get the timing right here. We're double teaming Dez, the D tackle. Now we're going to wait. We're going to explode here, and we're going to take out the inside defender in zone there. Except Daniels is not going to follow the play. He could have very easily. He's not going to follow the play there. Instead, that's Miller, sorry. That's Miller. My apologies. That's Shamar. Let's get that right. There we go. My bad. Shamar, Miller. Exchange those two. Okay, we're good. We're continuing on. And he's going to take it to the outside instead. He decides this is a better option, and we're going to get Jason Marshall locked up. And here we have a shot by Torrance. Torrance takes way too shallow of an angle. You can't blame him. This is an avenue for him to come into here. He's in the tough spot, but too shallow of an angle. Now he trips himself and takes himself out of the play. That's not going to happen. And Miller comes all the way across the field and at least touches him as he comes into the end zone. So the play they had on was going to work, and he was going to walk in the end zone most likely directly up the middle. But even when he bounces it to the outside, it still works. And so a touchdown for LSU on 1st and goal. For those of you keeping track at home, LSU has now scored on 5 straight drives, and Cox has had enough of this. Now, Cox has had a few good plays in between this time. I'm not showing you every single play that Florida's had that are good. I did mention, of course, there are plenty of them that are, in fact, good on 1st and 2nd down. I'm trying to show you the most high-impact plays in this football game, but here's a play that's a good play on 1st down. Cox is going to just swim move. I mean, look at this. This left tackle, just no shot. Swim move, gone. Almost no resistance offered. And then because Florida's coverage, yet again, is not there early on. Again, LSU was able to run a lot of quick game to perfection, right? And if you can run a quick game like this, then even instant pressure from the D-line is not going to matter. But they're going to catch Florida yet again, bailing into a cover 3 defense. And that's going to allow their 3-on-2 here. Their overload to work. They know he's going to bail. They know they're going to give up. They're going to give up this outside flat route by design. He's going to buzz over to it, and you can either have here or here. They're 2-on-1ing this flat defender. 2-on-1ing the flat defender. So you can 2-on-1 low. You can 2-on-1 high. This is really good offense, great play design and concept. And because he has either one of these throws, if they were covered, right, if Florida's playing a different defense and they're covered, this is a sack. But instead, he actually has these throws comfortably. Doesn't even really know Cox is coming. Going to go and get that ball out, and it's going to bounce short. But again, both of these players are open, right? When you're making a triangle on defense, if a triangle is what you have as defense, you're not playing defense. You're a spectator. This is not his fault. There's nothing he can do here. If he chooses one of them, then he's really wrong. All he can do here is mitigate the damage. Mitigate damage, rally down and make a tackle, and make it 2nd down and 5, which is okay. But again, another example here of LSU getting the exact play they want. So much so that Cox could not get a better get off here. He's instantly, and he's full sprinting with almost zero contact or inhibition. Doesn't matter. He still can't get the sack, and Florida can't make a play off this. It just goes down as an incomplete pass. LSU heavily targeted Jaden Hill in this game. We had seen how against Eastern Washington, it looked like he wasn't necessarily all the way back with his movements, especially coming back downhill. In this game, there were a couple plays he was unlucky on, a few well-timed LSU balls, a few well-timed LSU push-offs with their receivers gaining separation at the proper point before the ball was coming. But on this play, and this happens with Florida's defense, I think, far too often than what we want to see here. Florida looks to be playing cover 1 man. You're not going to see any underneath defenders come back here at all. So LSU is going to appropriately call a play they're comfortable with here. Florida expecting run, not getting run, right? We're selling out in the box here for run. We're going to get pass instead. And then what you're going to get is the easiest possible in-breaking route, as Jaden is just going to back off here, back off, back off, back off, back off. He's trying to play off technique here where he can explode down into this route like we saw him do against Missouri, but he opens all the way up. You're going to see him right here. His feet are turning all the way up. That means he's giving up. At that point, when you see that as a receiver, you know you're good to break this off and complete this, and there he comes right in. Not even a great in-breaking route, and that's the worst part about this, right? Not a sharp angle here, nothing crazy with a head fake. He's just rounding this turn nice and easy. Simple completion on 2nd and 10 for 15, 16 yards right here. That's just way too easy. Again, really unfortunate day for Jaden. They targeted him 8 times, 7 of 8 for 127 yards and 2 touchdowns in this football game. Florida's going to play cover 6 here. And this is going to be Kamari Wilson, who is someone I'd like to see playing over Dean in general, based on what we've seen on film. Might as well let the young guy in there make plays, let him make mistakes. And in this case, Florida, again, is going to play very soft on this. It's 1st and 10. They're going to keep everything in front of them. But we're down 35-21, and you're just going to get a simple in-breaking route here and a clear-out route. Again, Florida going to split this. He's going to bail out. He's going to have a quarter. Maybe a quarter, maybe not. There's a quarter. Dean's going to have a quarter here, and then Marshall's going to have the half at the bottom, and you cannot see Marshall. But if you're going to play this spot here, this is a fine start by Kamari. He's not backing up. He's playing aggressive. He's reading his window, and this is his window. He's going to come downhill right now and make this play. Unfortunately, again, if you can't touch the receiver, you're not close enough, right? This is an instant within 3 yards in breaking route. If he comes up a little bit more and he's here where he should be, as soon as he sees this route come in, he's able to dive down. He knows he has safety help above him as well. Again, LSU killing Florida here with a quick game. They were so successful at this all day. This is largely what LSU wants to do, is run quick game like this. They did hit Florida over the top much better than they typically do, but this is their preferred offense, these quick game throws. And if you're going to give them these alignments right here, they're just going to go ahead and run off this space for you and get it to their best player, Booty, who's completely unharassed. Again, too much space here. Turn the corner, and first down becomes another first down. All right, time for another edition of the Cox highlight reel. A one-man wrecking crew out here on defense. He's going to stop the zone read by himself. This is great progression on film by Cox, and he's putting so much good stuff out here. Notice previous Cox might have been flying in here. He's not. Now he's going to reroute. We're going to reroute the right tackle to make sure if this ball is handed off in here, he's going to try to mess up that double team and block on the second level. And now he's going to read the mesh point here between the quarterback and running back. He's in position to cover both, but he knows his primary job here is to cover the edge. Now it's kept. There he is. Take away the edge, which is perfect. That's what you want to do. Make him go this way to where you have help, and then make a tackle because you don't have any help that gets there. That's just absolutely heroic stuff. Not even a celebration. Shoe on the ground. Shoe on the ground right here. He's not going to throw it. LSU's tempting him. Hey, make a great play. Throw it. He's not. And why is he not celebrating? Because it's 35-21. Florida's defense cannot get off the field, but it is not due to him. It is not due to him. It definitely raises questions when LSU spreads the field out and Florida decides that the best person to put on Booty is, in fact, their freshman, Kamari Wilson. Also a safety, not a cover corner, not a nickel. That just seems very, very curious to me that Florida would elect to do this in zone, but they're doing it anyway. And again, it is zone, but still, this is his zone. LSU is going to get what they want here. Nice job by Daniels. He's going to read this, recognize it's not what he wants, read this. This is nice quarterbacking right here. And then read this, right? Sprinkler read coming across the field. This is really good stuff. Nice pocket here. Find what you like. Clean pocket. Deliver a strike. Whoops, not exactly a strike. Booty still should have caught this, but if this ball is caught and or it's thrown a little higher, this is a touchdown. So Florida dodges a bullet there. That's going to be an easy walk-in touchdown. Nice reading by LSU there, of course, against the zone by Daniels, but Florida dodges a bullet here on 2nd and 6. Not a great look, though. 3rd and 6 for LSU. You can see the third down numbers here for Jaden Daniels. It's only going to get better after this play. This one I'm at least more okay with. Florida's going to elect to play man here. Cover one man is what LSU has struggled the most against this season, having a completion percentage below 50. Florida only played a handful of snaps in cover one man. They played 9 man snaps in total, giving up 5 completions. They fared much worse in zone. Motion across. Going to get the Rip Liz concept here coming down for Trey Dean. That's going to put Kamari at safety. Now we're one-on-one here, one-on-one here, one-on-one here, and then we're one-on-one with Jaden Hill. Daniels is going to make this read. He knows where he wants to go the entire time. Right now we have great coverage by Hill. It's great coverage by Hill. Great coverage by Hill. And then this is a great play. Ball's out. You can see on your screen that he has not even begun to make his route back yet. Ball's out. Now he's turning. Ball's already in the air. And this is just perfection by LSU. This is not a play you can stop. If the timing is that good, they're going to get it. Timing is that good, you're going to get that route. That's a fantastic piece of football there by LSU. So hopefully you can see on some of these third downs, right, Florida's totally at fault. On some of these are just really good plays by LSU. But a lot of that comes from the fact if you let a team get this comfortable, if their play calls are exactly what they want, if you're not able to do something to take away their first or second read or influence them in this football game, then this can be the result. Certainly a career day, a lifetime day for Jaden Daniels, and a really nice example there of an extremely well-thrown hitch route. 3rd and 3 for LSU. Florida's going to start this play light in the box with 7. Light in the box with 7 with Dean right here, Dean and Kamari right here, being able to also play run to make that a 9-on-9. LSU has 9, Florida has 7. This needs to be 9-on-9. You need them to come in here and make a play, make a stop. If you're going to play defense this way, right away, Boone takes away the fake to the running back, and now we're in business here with Kamari. We're holding the edge over here with Mitchell, a guy who's been getting more playing time. He does a nice job here turning this back into where we can make a stop. Here we go. That's what we wanted, right? Now you have Kamari one-on-one. He's going to over-pursue a little bit. This gets turned back around as Bernie's also going to over-pursue a little bit. Cut back in for the first down. So this play call is perfectly fine. I'd like to see Florida's safeties committing to this earlier. Right now it's a keeper, right? Dean's responsible if it's a keeper to play pass in case it's an RPO. Kamari's coming downhill. If Kamari happens to be 2 yards closer, this play is going to be different. Instead, he's a little late. Then he takes over the top here. He does force this back to the middle, which is what you want. Bernie could have potentially been here to help. Instead, a nice athletic play by Daniels. So Florida, close on that one, but yet another conversion for LSU. Perfection thus far for LSU on 3rd down. 2nd and goal LSU. We showed you Cox earlier stopping a zone read entirely by himself. And here he's going to wait. Read the blocker. He knows he needs to stay outside. Read the zone read. Read the mesh point right here. Read the mesh point. Bingo. And then launch. Launch and get outside. He unfortunately goes just a little bit too aggressive here. Notice his ankle is this way and not this way. If he takes an angle this way, he'll stop this play. He comes in a little bit too steep, and now he finds himself in a trail position. He just quite can't get there. Compounding his problems as Jaden Hill elects to come in here, which is not what you want to do. He needs to be coming around here to try to make this play to the outside. And instead, Jaden Daniels runs in the end zone for one of his 3 touchdowns in this football game. 1st and 10 here. Florida wants to get creative. And if you want to get creative, I'm fine with this, but you have to get the spacing and execution right. We're going to exchange this here to play 3-on-2, essentially. Think of this like a triangle, playing 3-on-2 here versus LSU's 2 receivers. But we're going to be so late here with Dean. This is not worth it. You can't cat and mouse this game so long because look how easy this is. You're going to take this play every single day. I mean, look at this. He's literally waiting for the football, and we have 7 yards of space between Dean and, of course, that's Booty. We might as well think that we're allergic to him, right? We're allergic to the booty, if you will, because we don't want to be anywhere near this man. And this is the result. Trey Dean's going to pull his flag right here. Good flag pull in flag football. He'll be down for a 9-yard gain. And then eventually we're going to tackle him. But that's just so easy, so soft. If you want to run that concept can be fine. But as this ball is getting snapped right now, full speed, you have to come down on this. You have a safety helping you. You are triangling this. You can come down as hard as you want and keep this inside the triangle. And instead, it's almost like we're content to let them have this. You can catch it. Now I'll come tackle you. Which, again, if you want to rally down and make a tackle here, rally down, make the tackle. But regardless, I'm not a fan of how this defense is being executed on 1st down and 10. We're content to give up 5 or 6 yards off the start. Don't love that. Avery Helm did not play a ton in this game, but he had a lot of success. LSU was 0 for 2 against him, and they were successful against almost everyone else. Here they are going to run a stutter stop go on him off your screen. You can't see it, and he is in perfect position. You can see that he is ahead of the route in perfect position. He's going to defend this ball also in the air. He's going to get his hand on it and then finish it. Here's it on top. Here you go. He finishes it here. Then he gets his hand on it again. My slow motion is failing me, but he gets his hand on it again right here. Fighting through the ball right here. Finish the play all the way to the ground. He winds up getting rewarded as this ball does hit the ground. So a nice individual play there by Helm, a guy who has definitely progressed from last year to this year. He's certainly not perfect yet, but he put some good stuff on film on this game. One of the few stops against LSU. All right, you know things are not good if in real time a quarterback who is the analyst, in this case Greg McElroy, and quarterbacks should be able to analyze where they want to go with the football. If you've watched our previous film breakdowns, I haven't done as much of that this year, in large part because there's so much foundational building with Napier's offense and Tony's defense that we're trying to kind of reset some of this stuff, but it's a numbers game. If you're LSU and you have 3-on-3, you know that if Florida wants to put a fourth defender in, it's got to be a linebacker or a defensive lineman. But you're able to read this quick, and you're going to see you're going to see McElroy circle right here. Ready? Look at this. What he's circling is the space. Look at the space we have. We can run a quick route here. Let's get back to that. Sorry. Where am I? I'm lost. Come back. Here we go. We can run a quick route right here. Right? Just peek this right off the line. And let's see what happens. What do you think? If your bingo card says quick game right here, again, LSU likes quick game. It's what they want to do most. You win. Good outside shoulder throw. Could have been better if it kept him up, as he would have still had room to run. But instead, on 2nd and 10, he picks up an easy 7-yard gain, right? This is too easy. So if Florida wants to run this concept, which is a perfectly viable concept to run, you have to widen out your spacing, right? Princely has got to start out here. You have to cut the spacing down. This relationship between quarterback to receiver and you has got to be cut down. If this is the midway point and you are leaning too far over on this side, your ability to get to this angle and cut that throw off is impossible. And that's what you see here. He turns to go to it, but there's no chance he can get there in time. If he's 2 yards in front of this, right? If he's closer, imagine him being closer. He's now actually standing right here. Now this throw becomes difficult and dangerous. Instead, it's safe and easy, and Daniels still does the right thing by throwing him to the outside shoulder. Again, a better throw turns him up the field and is gaining even more yards. But that is a fine concept by Florida, but it has to be executed better than that if they're going to do that. The details are not there right now. And again, as you see with McElroy circling on the screen, that leads to a layup conversion. Well, not conversion, but 7 yards. If you recall from just a few plays ago, we did an exchange with Dean, except we switched, I think it was Torrance, but it was someone else back to safety at that time. And now we're going to do the opposite. Here's Perkins, who's probably our best man defender at this point, especially in the interior. We're going to blitz him. Again, LSU, say it with me now, they prefer a quick game. They hit Florida on bombs. They don't prefer that. They prefer the quick game. So if you prefer the quick game and you're a quarterback and Florida's going to blitz right here, right? There you go. They're going to blitz right there. Then what do you think you might like as a pass? If you guessed a slant route, that might be ideal. So Florida decides they're going to give you a cover 4 look, and they're going to bring a safety down. Again, this is perfectly fine. Pre-snap read, that might confuse some people. This would be interesting to play cover 4 on 3rd down and 3, right? We're going to bail into it. So pre-snap, what do you think you have? Pre-snap, you look like you have cover 3. That would also be interesting on 3rd down and 3 to play cover 3. Wouldn't love that call. You could play 3 match. Either way, Florida not telling LSU what they're doing. You get a motioned running back across. Nobody follows, which is great for a lot of reasons. So now Florida is disadvantaged across the board. Let's look at the ways they are disadvantaged. LSU has a 3-on-2 with a chasing Miller into the gap here. Imagine the routes we could run for a first down. How about this one? How about double slant? That's one. Check. How about a fade route with a little flare route out here to the outside in the flat? Check. That's a good one. We can also probably run what I call a rail route, right? Or a hole route here on the sideline, and then probably a go route here, and then leave Miller in the flat. And you can 2-on-1 that. So if the corner comes down here, then you hit over the top. If the corner bails, there's no chance Miller can get to this route here. All right, so they're pretty much good on every single route they could want on this side if they wanted, but we're going to look on this side, where now we're going to work 2-on-2 entirely with no safety help, with Dean coming back from 15 yards away from the ball on 3rd down and 3. So LSU, being a quick game team, is going to elect to take a slant to their best receiver, who's Booty, who's literally wide open. Trey Dean is 6 yards away from him, right? We're covering effectively nothing. I want to stop this right here. LSU up top is wide open here on 3rd and 3. That is a layup conversion. Now here we are with Dean coming down late. No chance he's going to stop this. Easiest pitch and catch you can possibly imagine. They're running quick game. And look at this, right in his hands. They're going to convert. They're going to go 9 for 9. Oop, it's a little behind him. Still got to catch his football. And that's it. That's Florida's stop. That's Florida's one stop of the game. There you go, a little fist pump from Billy. We're excited, but in reality, we should be embarrassed, right? We didn't stop them. Take a look at that. Softness all over the place. I mean, we are giving them this route, giving them this route, giving them this route. 3 routes given to them. All of them, first downs. Take your pick. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Here's a look at Jason Marshall's interception that wound up not being an interception. Sadly, LSU, as they did throughout this game, was reading Florida's mail. They tended to know exactly what coverage Florida was going to be in, and they were running coverage beaters against that defense. That's not a good look. It's going to make things more difficult, obviously, for the players, and the players on their own had all sorts of difficulties themselves. This game was a mixture, seemingly, of scheme issues as well as personnel issues and just a little bit of unluckiness at times as well. But here LSU is going to run essentially what's a 4 vertical concept here. 4 vert concept here. You can't see your one off the back end, but running 4 verts against cover 3, which is exactly what you want to run. Marshall plays this perfectly. If he's faced with 4 verts here, someone's going to be 2-on-1. In this case, it is Marshall. He has to split these 2 so he can at least attempt to play both of them. Trey Dean is going to turn around the proper way this time. Of course, in this situation, you're in trouble. If a team knows you're running cover 3 and you run 4 verts and you make a good throw, you can't stop it. This is a beater. It's here for a reason. I love 4 verts. You are going to get a stop here eventually from him, but regardless, again, the concept's the same. This is the exact right read by Daniels. He has tons of space to put this ball into. It's a very easy throw. The only problem for him is Dexter wins a one-on-one matchup and gets free. Otherwise, this is going to be a huge completion for LSU. So Florida's most successful almost play in this game really was going to be a huge completion minus a nice effort here from Dexter. So Dexter breaks free. He rushes this throw, causes him to lean back. This ball then gets elevated. Marshall, because he does his job correctly, is able to peel off of this and do his job protecting this third of the field. Again, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 here, right? He's protecting his third. He's going to wind up making a really nice interception here on this overthrown ball. And of course, it's going to be all for naught because Dexter winds up doing something that I think is not worthy of a penalty at all. We've seen this throughout all levels of football this year. They need to fix how they're calling roughing the passer. You want to keep quarterbacks in the football game. They're essential to good football when it comes to scoring and offense and general viewership, but this kind of stuff's got to stop. So Florida, with the 1 turnover they force, again, a nice play by Dexter that creates this here, otherwise going to be a big play, is all for naught. Florida now in this football game somehow still, despite LSU stopping themselves only 1 time, a 3rd and 8, a chance to get off the football field. And Florida, again, in my opinion, is going to get overly creative here as we're going to play a cover 2. It's 3rd down and 8. Cover 2 could be a perfectly reasonable call, especially because it allows your corners to sit on anything in this area. You want them jumping anything in this area as they have help over the top. Jump, 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 right? Except, take a look at what we're doing here. Florida is content again. Nice break here, right, from Marshall, but it'd be a nicer break if you really committed to it. Little late. Going to get a stop on 4th and 1, but why give them 7 yards here? If you're in cover 2, you're in cover 2, and I'm sure LSU wishes they just ran this right here, right? Wouldn't that be nice? Yet again, we gave it to them. They ran it before. This time, they don't run it. They actually run themselves into our dropper. Now, Tony loves doing this stuff. This stuff works when you get yourself in the right lane, which you see here. But again, Florida has 4 people covering Booty. That's nice now because in the past we've had barely 1. But now we have 4, right? We have 4, where of course in a dream world, and it's possible Florida gets this wrong, because why would you have 3 droppers going into the same zone? The answer is you would not. Now, if you're Cox, you're dropping over here. There's no one over here. So you're reading the quarterback's eyes. Maybe you're going to be on this side. Miller's going to go straight back. if you're Princely, he's opening up and reading this route coming in here, but he should know he has Miller over his head, and he should still be bubbling into this area, which he doesn't do. So we're in cover 2, but we've lost the underneath coverage we need to have. Now Marshall gets a nice break on this ball again, but if we're here, right, this play's not there if we're here. Could be a pick. Instead, it goes for a gain here, right, of 7. So Florida, all sorts of issues. Well, that's one thing or it's the other thing, or who knows what's happening here. But if we're going to play these kind of simulated pressures, you have to actually get your linemen to come back. Now, this stuff is complicated. It's a big reason why Florida's struggling. A lot of these guys have never done this, right? They're not doing this 10 times a game. They might do it 3 times a game. Now with the game on the line, we just get this look, which is frustrating. Again, Marshall's coming down here fine, doesn't back up, technique, start off the start. Here we go. He's off the start, giving up a lot of cushion in cover 2. You could start this much shallower here. Florida wants to not give away what they're in. They want to make this harder to diagnose. Post-snap roll could be cover 4. It looks like possibly 4. It's going to be cover 2. He's going to open his read. This is a pretty risky throw here by him with the corner coming down. But anyway, I've spent too long on this play already. But you can see Jason Marshall tries to separate. Miller's there late, and Princely's not there in his window. So we do not have the proper execution on 3rd down and 8, even though the play call could have been viable. All right, after 2 false starts that made this field goal much more interesting than it was going to be, Florida's now playing defense, hoping to get off the field here one more time. This time I like the pre-snap splits, right? Much more aggressive here on top of these routes. I like the high-low of the zone. I like the levels concept we're playing here. But more importantly, I like something that Florida's defensive line, we talked about coming into this game, had been struggling with. They were much better in this game. Notice how Dexter is going to hold here one-on-one. And he's going to hold his position and then push off, separate, and then grab, right? This is really important. Florida's often been individually just flying in here to get a sack. And instead, you want to play smart. We don't want to let these blocks happen here. Dexter, do your job, hold your gap, which he does on 3rd and 12. And not only does LSU not get closer, they actually lose yards. So a great finish to the game by Dexter, setting up a long field goal for LSU, which they unfortunately would hit. And that would really be the nail in the coffin for Florida. Obviously, this film review has not been pretty. There's been all sorts of issues, from personnel to individual players making mistakes to questionable scheme decisions. There's a lot of things for us to watch as this season goes on. I think it's fair to say that Tony definitely has questions to answer thus far. At Louisiana, he did get things turned around. They started off very, very poorly there, and each year they did get better. So certainly Napier believes in him. He's going to give him more time to get this right. But what Florida's putting on film and what they put on film against Louisiana cannot be described as anything other than horrible, which essentially is what Napier said. This film's going to make you sick, and that's exactly what it does and did, and Florida is going to have to get better. I hope you enjoyed this content. As always, I'm James from the Gator Nation Football Podcast. I'll be on break next week since we have a bye, but I'll see you after the Florida-Georgia game.